like that, and I don't like what he did in Iran, and I don't know. I mean, I don't really have that much information on all of it. I'm not, obviously just a normal person, but
Thank you, Bill.
that was kind of like, okay, you haven't been talking about that, like striking Iran. It was just, I don't know. It just feels like it's an escalation into more stuff. So
I
that's
mean,
kind of
the
worrying me.
strikes on Iran Iran, it goes completely against what he even campaigned about, right?
Yeah.
Because he clearly said no new wars. There was going to be peace across the world when he's president. They called me the peace president in my first term. Like, he said a lot of stuff that would give no one any indication that not only was he going to bomb another country, right, but also was going to talk about taking over two sovereign countries and also a canal.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, Ukraine too, funding. I think he's continuing to fund Ukraine and that
He
war.
is continuing to fund Ukraine. That is correct.
Yeah, so that's not good. So I don't know,
Actually,
but
that one I agree with. And hey, Cloud Eon. And here's why: we have an agreement with them that goes back to 1994. We have more than one agreement with them that goes back to 1994 for why we're supporting them.
you're talking about Ukraine.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I know, but I just felt like that whole war was, I think, started by the UN and Joe Biden, anyways. But
When did the
I
war
don't know.
start?
I believe it started when the CIA overthrew.
No, I just want the year. Sorry, we can't do conspiracy theories here, so don't even bring
Oh,
that up.
we can't do that.
No, TikTok is sensitive.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so
What
what
year did the
year?
war start?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely started. I want to say 2 years into Biden. Well, I would say 20. Let's see, Biden. When was Biden elected? 2020, right? So 2 years, probably 2 years in. So 2022 around there, maybe 23.
February 2014.
No. Are you talking about when Russia invaded Ukraine?
Russia has been in Ukraine since February of 2014.
What do you mean they've been in? How are they in Ukraine?
They illegally annexed Crimea.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to talk about when I believe it was that Republican woman, and I can't remember her name, but her and Joe Biden were a big part of, with a certain group, to overthrow the duly elected Ukraine government for the
No,
color revolution.
so let's be clear. So you're
According
talking
to it,
about the
according,
Day of Deliverance, I believe it is called. I might be wrong on the exact name. But their D-Day that happened on, where they actually ousted Yanukovych, who was the president of Ukraine in 2014. The populace had been speaking out against him for the longest time, for years, because he'd become a Russian sympathizer. So they'd been speaking out against Yanukovych for the longest time in regards to his leaning more towards Russia, right? And then even when he was ousted out of the country, out of the position of office, he went to Belarus, which we already know because of I'm gonna mess up his name. Liberation Day. Thank you, Soroski. Um, the
so what
president
about,
of Belarus, who's been in power since Belarus became completely separate from the Soviet Union and the USSR. He was their first and only president so far. His name starts with an L. But he's been known, and like they have signed deals with
yeah,
Putin in Russia that says, hey, we're going to have each other's backs, right? They've had these deals forever, right? So Yanukovych escaped to Belarus, and now currently Yanukovych lives and resides within Russia. So that's how we know that he actually was a Russian sympathizer. He went to a country that was
Well,
helping to hide him from Ukrainian citizens, and then now he lives and is welcomed within Russia, the country that he's
well,
sympathizing for. So
okay, but
the
Ukraine
Ukraine did
is.
not like him becoming closer and closer and closer
Uh,
to
hold on.
Russia.
If you know Ukraine, like the east side of Ukraine is more pro-Russia, and the west side is more, I'd say, liberal or just pro-Ukraine, like
No, they're
or
just pro their own
anti-Russian.
sovereignty. How about that?
Well, I think it's complicated. So, but anyways,
It's not that
okay. Starting
complicated.
2014. All right. Well, I would say it's very complicated because
It's
if
not.
you've looked at it is super complicated.
It's
Look at the
not.
history of Russia. They're always overthrowing each other in Ukraine. It's a whole long.
When
It
was
is.
the very, very, very first time in history that Ukraine declared sovereignty?
When?
Yeah, what
Um.
year?
Oh wow. I would have to say after World War II, right?
Wrong.
Sometime.
Nope.
When was it? Okay. I don't have any information in front of me.
1918. 4 years after they declared their own sovereignty, they were taken over and absorbed into the USSR. But they were a sovereign country prior
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the Soviet
I'm not
Union.
trying to defend you on like Ukraine. That's just like insane. But anyways, I don't like that he's. Well, you like it, but that he's using
We have a deal
our military weapons.
with
What?
Ukraine. Again, we have
What's the deal
multiple
called?
deals. The Budapest Memorandum Partnership for Peace Program. So that
All
those
right.
are two separate deals. We have the Budapest Memorandum and the Partnership for Peace Program.
And when were those implemented? Or when were those created?
February of 1994 for the Partnership for Peace program. I believe the exact date that Ukraine signed it was February 8th of 1994. And then for the Budapest Memorandum that was signed at the very end, so December of 1994. And that agreement within that specifically said that the United States and the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland, that if Ukraine was to ever come under threat of nuclear weapon or a direct assault from another country, that we would help them out, right? It was also signed on by Russia, where Russia agreed to acknowledge and honor their sovereignty.
Right. Well, I disagree with that, and obviously
You
it's been
can
around.
disagree, and
I,
that's like, I mean, that's
yeah,
fine, but
I'm just
again,
saying, like, I don't want to continue doing that. I thought the whole point of Trump was to get out of foreign affairs, but apparently not.
no,
And I don't want to get into minutia of Ukraine, and because you're just gonna say, well, it's this and that, and I'm like, yeah, but and then you're gonna say, well, you're a conspiracy theorist. You have no proof. Anyways, that's all I have. I don't know. I just think he's still better, even though he's doing things I don't like. I would have him still as president over.
okay, odd.
Come on, Harry.
Oh, so it doesn't really, like, this is why I say I don't rehash the election, because that part doesn't even matter. At the end of the day, like, to be very clear, anyone would have been a better president than Donald Trump, except for RFK. I would hang my hat on saying RFK would have been hella worse, but that's just a personal opinion, because RFK is a
Well,
weird
you're gonna
conspiracy
call it.
theorist.
RFK. I love RFK too,
I'm
but
sure you do.
um, yeah, he's really cool. I like him. He's an old man that looks like he's 20 years younger, and he's been around and seen a lot of shit stuff. And I forgot my point when you started talking about RFK, but
It's
I don't know. There was something I was gonna say, but oh, it was this that I don't think it matters who's president. There's a certain lobby, which I will not name, that will dictate certain things with blackmail. So I don't think it really matters.
Why not? Huh? I said sure. Why not?
Well, just
no, I just said APAC. Sure. That's all I said. I just said sure.
Oh. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go.
All right, man. Do some research.
You're cute. I will.
Okay, bye.
I'll research.
Thanks, Chrissy. All right. Phone lines are back open for another caller. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
You're here to suck my...
Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Nigger.
Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
33.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Okay. Do you still support him?
Overall,
You do? Okay, just 1 second, okay? I just need to do... Oh, thank you so much, Lilith. I just have to do a quick PSA for my live, okay?
Yeah, do your thing.
Thanks. No, Cloud, he most certainly will not. That's very true. All right, give me 1 second on TikTok. I am going to mute y'all. Hold on. All right, over on YouTube, we did a little restart, so it's going to be slow warming back up, so I appreciate you guys being here. Just a friendly reminder, again, we do have super chats and memberships available. If you send a super chat, it does go right up on the screen. Kind of like someone just spamming LOL in the chat, which is fine. Thanks, Duke. So, like, it does go right up on the screen if you send a super chat. And for those that complain that I am not responding to your questions, if I'm actively talking and in the middle of a conversation, it's kind of rude for me to stop and reply to a question in the chat when there's a phone line that you can call into. And I don't think the caller would appreciate it if I just stop and be like, hey, I got to answer 16 million questions in the chat. All right? Just pointing that out there. Thank you. And if you guys do end up subscribing on YouTube, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you actually know when I go live. Okay. Back over on TikTok, we should have already hit 100,000 likes, so you've got 15 minutes to get to 100,000 likes, guys. Don't forget to clear the live goal, hit the red button up at the top over here, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so caller, what is the main reason that you still support Trump? And also, hi over on Twitch. I'm not forgetting about you. It's just very new to me. And it just looks like Cloud is the only one there.
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. So I'm kind of just going to piggyback off of a previous caller's.
I just want to know why you personally support Trump.
All right. Well, the transgender thing in sports was, to me, a big thing. Keeping transgenders out of the sports.
I think it's odd that individuals such as yourself are obsessed on what somebody's genitalia is. So do you have another point to make?
Yes, because it's not about genitalia. It's about physiological differences between males and females.
Okay, cool. So let me tell you this. Oh, thank you, Ravi, so much for the whale. I'm gonna help you out with something. So this is about biological differences, right? Having a biological advantage, right? Correct?
Exactly why.
It's having a biological advantage, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So here's what I propose, especially when it comes to sports like the NBA. Okay. Anyone that is over 7 feet tall has a biological advantage over anyone that's over 6 feet tall playing the sport. And so therefore, I think that anyone over the height of 7 foot tall should no longer be allowed to play in the NBA because they have a significant height, and also therefore a biological advantage of height over all of the other players. So just to be fair and just to create equity for everybody, they shouldn't actually be allowed to play in the NBA. So everyone that is over 7 feet tall should not be allowed to play in the NBA. And when it comes to boxing, that's already broken up by, let's see, weight class. But I think if you have a certain level of muscle density, so let's say that your body fat or your percentage of body fat is under 10%, you also should not be allowed to play within, or to participate in wrestling or boxing, because you already have a biological advantage with having a additional muscle mass and a lower body fat percentage. So therefore they shouldn't be allowed to participate in that sport either, and maybe should only play against those people. I don't know. Also, we should also ask Michael Phelps to give back all of his swim records, because he also had a biological advantage over all of the other swimmers, right? He had a gene that actually made him metabolize faster, so it actually helped him swim even faster. So Michael Phelps should also give away all of his records. His name should be wiped from all of the records. He should give back away all of his trophies that he won, because this is just being fair. This is in the name of equality, right? Because that's what you're preaching. So everybody that could potentially have a biological advantage should never be allowed to play in sports, no matter what. Awesome. Glad we solved that. What other point do you have?
That is a red herring of a point.
I asked you for another point, so I really don't care. I've already talked about this. Yes, Skelly. Only people that are bad at sports should be allowed to play. That's a good point. I like that one. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I'm the one that you just hung up on.
Oh, and thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yep.
How old are you?
23.
Cool. Did you vote for Trump?
I did, yeah.
Do you still support him?
I do, yeah. I mean, not everything, but for the most part.
But 16, I didn't say equality of outcome, just so you know. Okay. So what is one of the main reasons that you still support Trump?
So, yeah, there's a few things. I would say high on the list is border security, also the economy. I don't think everything he's done with the economy has been great, but the 2017 tax cuts was great, and I'm glad that is sticking. And let's see, what else? I would say I for the most part, have liked his foreign policy as well. I think now, okay, this is something across the board that he does that I think makes a lot of people not like him. But when you see what's really going on, I think it's better than what people think. So he's like a negotiator, right? And he's kind of scummy for that. He's a businessman, you know. It makes people not like him, but it does work. And when he does, like, oh, I'm going to do the 15% tariff, I'm going to do your 400% tariff, whatever it is, he's not actually going to do it. But most people believe it because he says it with such confidence and such conviction. And, you know, he might end up sticking with, like, the 10% tariff. I don't know. But, like, when the economy crashed, right, like, I just bought more stocks because I was like, he's bluffing. You know, this guy is a little bit crazy like that, and he's willing to just throw around our money, which sucks, and I don't like that that's how he did it. But I do think that overall what he's doing is reshaping the world to, you know, like, respect us and you know, reshaping the world to understand that we have the powerful economy, we have the biggest military, you know, and that should give us some extra power, right? Rather than just, you know, succumbing to the will of other countries and letting them step all over us, which is certainly what felt like what happened with Biden. And so that's the main reason why I voted for him, is because I wanted a reversal on that sort of thing that happened. And there's plenty of other candidates who could have done that too, I'm sure. I'm not like a diehard Trump supporter. It's just who we got, you know. But I'm pretty happy with it overall.
Mm. Do you know who Scott Besson is?
Scott, he's on the what's it called? The cabinet. I forget what position though.
He's the Secretary of Treasury.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Are you familiar about an interview that he had with Fox News?
I don't think so. I've heard a lot of random quotes and different things he said. What is it?
Oh, you were asking me. I'm sorry. I actually didn't realize that was a question.
No,
I actually
you're
apologize. No, so Scott Besson, because just so you know, the Liberation Day, tariffs did go into effect in April. That is true. Tariffs did, in fact, go into effect in April. And tariffs will be going into effect supposedly on this week. I think Thursday. All right. Except for Mexico.
Yeah. But
okay.
yeah,
so
but
Scott Besson, in his interview on Fox News, said that the tariffs are here to stay. They're not going away. So once the tariffs are implemented, and by the way, we do have tariffs that have been implemented after negotiations occurred with other countries. So these tariffs, the 15% tariff on the EU, that's here to stay for at least as long as Donald Trump is president. Can I test your knowledge on something real quick?
Go for it.
Who pays the upfront? Who pays the cost of the tariffs?
Up front, it would be the people shipping it.
The people shipping it?
Yeah, like the people that are selling the good to the U.S.
Oh,
But,
so it's the sellers, in your opinion, that are paying for the tariffs?
Like oftentimes, yes, but
Often,
not all the.
no. No. So if the United States has a 15% tariff on all goods from, if the United States puts a 15% tariff on Germany, for example, okay, you're saying that the German seller is the one that's paying the tariffs to the United States?
Yes, I guess so. So,
you would be unequivocally wrong.
Okay. So who is paying for it? The importer?
The importer. So American companies are paying the cost of the tariffs up front, right?
Okay.
So what you're really bragging about is that American companies are paying an additional tax to the United States that the majority of them, and we already have evidence of this, right? The majority of them will end up passing on to the consumer, such as yourself and myself, right? For example, Procter & Gamble already announced that they're going to be raising all of their prices. Walmart already said that they were going to raise all of their prices. For a short window of time, Amazon was displaying a separate amount that they supposedly were talking about, displaying a separate amount of how the price increased based on tariffs. They immediately walked that back very quickly after a True Social post from Donald Trump. But we even know that Amazon and their sellers are pushing the tariffs onto American consumers, right? And so what a lot of people seem to forget, that when it's the importer that is paying the upfront cost of tariffs, is that's going to negatively harm and negatively impact small businesses in the United States, because they don't necessarily have the capital in order to continue to get what they need to make their products, which reach a certain type of people, of course, within the U.S., right? And that's, again, going to negatively impact our economy as well. And I don't think that the fact that we're having these additional taxes, and so therefore additional things that the United States citizen and companies are paying for, is anything to be worth bragging about.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that it was the importer that pays it first. I thought it was like the exporter. It's added on to their costs, and then the costs usually get rolled over to the consumer. which obviously, like, I totally know, yeah, well, oftentimes it'll get rolled over to the consumer. We haven't really seen a ton of that yet, but I don't doubt that point that'll happen. And I mean, to that I would say, like, I still believe, I know that's not what they're saying, but I still believe that these aren't really here to stay, in the sense that, like, you know, for the rest of his presidency, that they will be. Maybe they will.
Scott Besson already said it, and we already know that they will be, based on the trade deals that have been negotiated with the agreed upon tariff rate. So that 15% tariff on the EU, when I narrowed it down directly to Germany because they're part of the EU, is here to stay. Of course, we have to wait for the actual details to come out, because that's how it works here.
Right. Okay. So let's say that they're here to stay, and you know, I think it's certainly the case that the really ridiculous tariffs, like we already saw the China tariff drop from whatever that ridiculous amount was.
145%.
Right? Yeah. Or I think it even reached like above 200 at some point. Maybe not. But I think like I like that he's using it as a negotiating tool, because the American consumer is like a ridiculous commodity, because we like going into debt and just buying things. And so, like, the world actually really needs the American consumer. Like, even though there's way more people in other parts of the world, right, our people like spending things. So that's kind of why it's a really powerful negotiating tool, and why we may be having to pay more on some of our goods, but it could result in better things, you know, that he's getting out of the deals, right, and better situations just across the board in terms of certain relations. Now, certain relations are going to be strained by it. Like, I know he just got into a tizzy with India over this, and now he's saying, I don't know how, I'm not super current with it, but he is saying he's going to slap a huge tariff on them because they're supporting Russia, and I think that's a great idea, and to use that power, right, rather than having to fund the other side, but, you know, sort of cutting off resources to Russia rather than having to fund Ukraine, right, or whatever. But that's kind of a tangent. But my point is, I think it's good as a negotiating tool, and it'll make the other countries perhaps realize, you know, how important the American market is, and it might cause, you know, some companies or some countries to you know, kind of shift that perspective. And then as far as like the American companies go, I don't really buy that manufacturing is going to increase here all that much. I mean, it might a little bit. There has been companies that have said they're going to be moving over, but I think that's more of a PR thing. Like, oh, we like the U.S., we like the president, let's, you know, made in America. That's kind of the vibes I get from it. Like, I think it's still going to be cheaper, because 10% like is not much when we're talking about the margins of the $2 that people in other countries are getting paid per hour to make these things.
Thank you, Kirby, for becoming a member.
Yeah, but basically overall, like, I just see it as a powerful negotiating tool, and I think it'll help us in that way long term.
Sure. It's not going to, because I think people forget about this part, but everyone was already buying from us. And you know, the last big trade negotiation that he brokered under his first term, with China?
No.
I can't remember the exact name of it, but he brokered it in 2018, and it was supposed to take effect literally the next year in 2019, where China was supposed to buy like 200 million or billion. I don't, like, it's one of the two, right? Lots of zeros, right? More than they've ever purchased from us before in the last 10 years. They didn't even get one, like, over that.
Like, they didn't follow through?
They didn't
Did
buy
you
any
see?
of it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think that might start happening now? Like, now he means business this time, like that's kind of what I'm thinking.
No,
But
because even then, like the one massive trade deal that he actually did that was successful, right, within his first presidency was the USMCA, and that replaced NAFTA. And that gave companies the ability to move part of their manufacturing into our neighboring countries of Canada and Mexico, right, because it's cheaper to ship materials back and forth on this same continent, right? And Donald Trump himself said while he was in office, this current term, just in his first 6.5 months of presidency, that was the dumbest deal ever made. He doesn't know who would ever make that deal because he already forgot that he's the one who signed USMCA. Not only did he sign USMCA, but when they were recording it on live TV, like they were broadcasting it on live TV, on one of the copies, in fact, it was actually Canada's designated copy, he signed on Canada's line.
So I'm curious, what if you were to give your best guess, why do you think that Trump is doing the tariffs? Like, what do you think his, like...
Donald Trump is a bully, and the only thing he knows how to do is bully people. And he doesn't actually inherently understand what a tariff is, and he forgets how it's going to negatively impact himself. So here's what I remember. One of the very first interviews he did after he was telling everyone that he was officially going to campaign for president in 2015, everybody remembers that monumental moment, right, where he went down the golden escalators, and he sat down with a host from NBC. I want to say her name was Kelly Tur. And she asked him about, like, what was your plan to bring manufacturing back to America then? And he said, we're just going to make it so hard for them to bring anything into the United States that they're not going to want to have their manufacturing in all of these other countries, right? That's basically what he said. Didn't bring up tariffs then. Someone else had to probably tell him that word. And then so Kelly, very smart of her, asked him, so your ties, your clothing line is manufactured in China. Are you going to bring back manufacturing into the United States? And he said point blankly, no. He wasn't going to bring back his own manufacturing within the United States of America because it was cheaper still for him, even if they applied additional duties and fees on American companies to make it over there. So here, like, that's my biggest thing in regards to Donald Trump. Is that it's obviously a bold-faced lie or a inherent misunderstanding of what tariffs do, what the trade market is like, what the cost would be to manufacture in the United States a single tie or a single shirt, right? That's going to astronomically jump up the price. But he knew enough to say that even he himself would not bring back his own manufacturing into the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Soy Boy with Joy, for all the jewels. Thank you.
Nice. Soy Boy with Joy.
That's what it says.
So I mean, so you think that basically he's just a bully, right? And that he is doing this because that's what he knows and it gets him results.
Yep.
I would say that
it gets him his own personal pocket results. Because, again, like, if he actually cared about American manufacturing in response to the question that he was asked in 2015 and what we would have seen within his first presidency is that he would have had Ivanka, who took over his businesses, right? Ivanka, Don Jr., Eric, whomever, bring manufacturing of his own brand name, his own name, right, it back into America. But instead he didn't. And he even clearly said as much on national television, and this is all recorded and you can find this, right?
Yeah.
This is all on NBC's website. He said he wasn't going to do it. So if he actually cared, he would have moved back. He would have led by example.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that I agree with you on that specific point of, yeah, he should lead by example if that's something that he cares about, as one of his main values, which has been really clear. I would just say, my kind of, I think our difference is I wouldn't call it bullying. I would call it, he's a negotiator, and that's, he's using leverage, right, to get deals. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to turn out well, right? You think it's going to turn out poorly.
It is. We're already seeing it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't.
No,
I don't
we
think
are. They've modified the job reports, right?
That's true.
You remember
yeah,
that?
But
by a significant amount.
Do we know that that's really connected, though?
Yes. You want to know why? Because when you have an uncertainty of tariffs, manufacturing companies, and you can actually find leaked emails from manufacturing companies, are either doing massive layoffs or they're hiring freeze. And typically with hiring freezes, sometimes also comes with the wage cap freeze, right? So you can find companies that I've issued statements that as a result of the talk of tariffs, we're not hiring, or we have to lay individuals off, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, and because it creates a market uncertainty.
Yeah. So, okay. I do. Yeah. So the uncertainty, that's a huge factor. And it's there's been a lot of negative repercussions from the uncertainty alone, right? Even in industries that are completely unrelated to manufacturing. But I think the difference is uncertainty isn't, the negative results haven't necessarily materialized, right? The uncertainty is fueling itself almost. That could be, or it could materialize.
The uncertainty is just spurned on by Trump and his constant talk of tariffs one day, not delaying them, tariffs, delaying them, tariffs, delaying them. It's literally a bed of his own making.
Yeah. So that is not very good. But I think anytime you have a big, there's going to be uncertainty. And that's the part to me that is the hardest, because it's well, is it actually gonna work? And I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, because I think he is a little bit stupid, but I think he also is good at some things. And I feel like he cares about the economy, if he cares about anything at all. And he, as much as he said the first after Liberation Day or whatever, as much as he said, I'm not looking at the stock market, he was sweating bullets. And that's of course why he, delayed it, right? So I would just say that for now, it's uncertainty, but that's exactly why after Liberation Day, I was I see all these cheap stocks, but I'm but the companies are not actually undervalued, right? So I just increased my allocations to them, and then it came back up, and they'll probably go back down pretty soon again because he's doing this again. And that process is quite annoying.
And I'm glad that you're able to profit from it, but there's many individuals within the United States that aren't able to profit from the stock market tanking. In fact, a lot of them are being damaged because they're losing value in their retirement plans. Also, TikTok, you guys are just not tapping, so we are going to sub only until now you get it to 150,000 likes.
Yeah, and that's definitely a fair complaint, and that sucks. But as far as retirement accounts, that comes back. What definitely is hard is
not always, sir. Not everybody has the ability to keep all of their money within a retirement plan. You do realize that there are some individuals that switch jobs in the midst of all this turmoil, and those companies that had their retirement plan will only keep it for so many days. And if it happened to be on a low day, then they're ass out.
Okay. So I didn't know that you would. I mean, obviously, if someone cashed out their retirement account, then yeah. But I didn't know
that's not a purposeful cash out, though. That was they couldn't do anything about it.
I didn't know that there was companies that would just cash out your retirement. I didn't know that was.
Yep. If you leave your company, It's only in there for a certain number of days that they'll pay for it, and then it's either an immediate cash out or you have to call and get it transferred over. But again, but that you would have to call to get it transferred over. Either way, it's considered a withdrawal.
Okay, but we're getting into into details, but they should have called and transferred over, right?
No, guess what? If you call on a market volatility day where the market is low, it's still only going to be on that day's value. You would have to somehow plan you switching jobs, right? So you've left the company. It's within the amount of time that they allow you to call and do a switch, because there are some companies that hold on to your retirement for like 6 months after you've left them before they'll even let you move it. So then you have to hope that you're going to hit a high day shortly after that 6 months, within that 60 to 90 day window, that you have to roll it over. And even then, like if you call on that day, it doesn't mean that the funds will actually be cashed out on that day, because ACHs and even checks being printed take a couple of extra days in order for it to close. It doesn't stop on that day with the market high.
Yeah.
So there's literally no way to plan for that. So basically, we're just saying F you to the people that switched jobs throughout all of this. That, in theory, switched jobs in order to better themselves. So.
Right, but okay, they wouldn't have, like, that would have to be a mistake on their part if they actually cashed out because they were changing jobs during the market low. They would just transfer it over, and it would still be low, but it would come back after, well, in this case, what was it, 2 months or something, right?
But not every job, guess what, trades in the same stocks. So that if they go with a what's it called, like a safe market trading, they're not going to see that same level of volatility or that growth. You see how like intrinsic this is? Like it takes a lot. That's not like that's not how easy. Like you can say, like even someone else in the chat said you just reinvested in the same day. That's not how it works, because not all of those reinvestments, not all of your retirement plans are going to be traded in the exact same way or have the ability to even trade in those exact same stocks that would actually rise it up faster.
Yeah.
Either way, at the end of the day, when you're saying that were able to make a profit, right? But there are disenfranchised individuals within this country that did not have the ability to make that profit. You're just kind of giving them like I said, an FU and get to the back of the line, because not everybody has that ability, especially when we're talking about low income earners that still have to somehow save, and some of them aren't even able to save, so they're not even able to buy in stocks. In fact, now just how many Americans Yeah, so 62% of Americans have money invested in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
So that still is leaving out the other 38%.
Yeah. And, so I would just, say in short that there's undoubtedly, right now, I could be charitable and call them growing pains at best. At worst, it's, we're going downhill, but I think it's growing pains, and I think that it's going to end up in a better situation in terms of our economy and in terms of trade. I mean, we hit a record high, right, in the midst of all this, despite the craziness, and that doesn't, the GDP doesn't necessarily have a big it's not a good indicator of the average American, but it is a good indicator of the wealth of the country.
It's not even that. Like, I'm not going to go down this hole because we've already been on the phone for almost 30 minutes. But yeah, man, I hope you have a good night. Just do some research, especially on tariffs, because you had that inherent misunderstanding. So I just encourage you to look it up.
Thanks. And
No
I would
problem.
encourage you. By the way, I think you helped me realize I was listening for a bit, and it helped me realize Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro and like those guys, like you think like, oh, conservative ideas are so much better, but really they're just, there's random people, right, who are unprepared, right, and you're prepared stuff. So good for you, for having a conversation and doing all that. So
thank you.
Nice talking with you.
All right, man. Have a good night. Okay, real quick before I turn back on the phone lines, I'm going to address some of these chats. Will, thank you for the 2 in Canadian, said, I support Trump because he's a racist like me. I assume that's satire, but thank you for the 2. Rostel, sorry it took me a while to get here, but I don't like interrupting or talking over the guest. Rostel said, wow, thank you for standing with Ukraine. They annexed my 1 million population hometown in Donetsk and Crimea. I'm impressed. Oh, you're impressed how good I am. And I saw all your other chats that you were making during the live, and I do appreciate you as well for all the comments. I try really hard to be not just aware within the United States, but to also be aware internationally on what's happening across the world. I try. I'm not always successful. That's a fact. Lock Moon said, gang, remember, Trump has bankrupted officially 4 times, actually 6. If you think he's a good negotiator, remember he has a horrible track record, which he does. And thank you, 15, for the 2 Canadian twice. Trumpet is going to start World War III, maybe. I'm not really sure at this point. I'm not going to say that. Honestly, I'm not going to say that. And then also told someone Subaru. So there's that. There's that too. But thank you for the 2 Canadian. I do appreciate that. I hope we don't get into World War III. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did not know, and I don't think he should have been in office. I think they should have picked somebody else that would have been better than Trump and Biden, because all Biden and Trump are doing is pretty much just fucking us over and ruining things that we deserve and what we need.
Thanks, real. Well, I appreciate you, man. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? That make you feel good? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you doing?
I'm good. How old are you?
I am 24.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did not partake in the election, but I did support him.
Okay. Well, you have a good night, man. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
Good, and you?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 24. My name is Sergio.
Okay, Sergio, did you vote for Trump?
No, I did not.
All right, well, I appreciate you, man. I hope you have a good night.
I just want to say something, although I voted for Jill Stein and not Kamala Harris, all due respect. Hello?
Jill Stein is a clown. She only comes out once every 4 years. She's never run for public office anywhere to even say that she's done something. She's just as much as a clown as Donald Trump is. She's only relevant and only shows her face once every 4 years for a presidential election. And at that point, she's just campaigning to earn money to probably pocket at the end of the day, because she knows she's not going to win. So, yeah, no, Jill Stein is an actual joke. So, have a good one.
Yep.
Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
24.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you still support him?
Someone not.
Okay. And what year were you born?
2001.
Awesome. What's your main reason for still supporting Trump?
There's the Democratic Party's just too shit to be supporting, to be honest.
There is not a Democrat in office right now, so that already invalidates your opinion.
Where would I go? Where would I go? Who would
Sir,
I vote for?
I'm not asking for you to vote for someone. I'm asking why you still actively support Donald Trump as president of the United States. It's not asking about why'd you vote for him or what your thoughts are on the Democratic Party, because newsflash, even I don't like the Democratic Party. I'm not a Democrat, nor am I a liberal. I'm not a conservative, and nor am I a Republican. I don't care about either party or their what's going on. I care about what is actively happening by the person that is in power today as president of the United States and what he's doing. So let's try this
Okay.
again. Why are
What do
you
you
still
consider?
supporting
What do you
Donald
consider
Trump?
yourself? What do you consider yourself to be? A libertarian? What do
No,
you mostly side to?
I am a non-affiliated voter. I don't address.
I see.
I don't align myself with any party.
Okay.
So,
That's what's
why
up.
do you still support Trump?
So, I mean, there's Trump is the only guy in office. Who else is there to support?
You know what? Do what I do. I don't support any of them. It's not difficult. It actually takes more effort for you to support them and say that you support them. And here's why. Because it's very telling when an individual says that the reason why that they still support someone is because there's no one else to support. That means you're not standing for anything. At least in my opinion.
I see. Yeah, you make sense.
Yeah.
Let's not support Trump, guys.
Okay.
The sun will rise again. The sun will rise again.
Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Well, at least that one hesitated, I guess. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
Absolutely.
All right, give me just 1 second, okay?
Bye.
Hey, TikTokers, you got 2 minutes to get up to 150,000 likes so that the chat is reopened. We can do it, all right? And yes, Shin, that is basically what that means. In 15, I said super. It's an inside joke. But the first time that I read that acronym, I actually thought somebody was like did a typo error and they were trying to type Subaru. So it's kind of why I also say that, because I thought it was a typing error. And thank you, Aaliyah, for the subscription on TikTok. I appreciate that. And so, guys, just a friendly reminder, if you send one of these, it goes right up on the screen. And yes, Cloud, I also do agree with you over on the Purple app that she was actively working against the left. Agreed. Okay, so caller, what is your main reason for still supporting Trump?
I just love how he puts America first. You know, he's protecting our southern border. Our economy is booming. He stands up for us and our allies. You know, against Palestine and Iran and all the sand niggers that try to fuck everything up. He's a wonderful leader.
Grow up and learn not to use a slur. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello?
You're not 18. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes.
How old are you?
47.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
Do you still support him?
Yes, I do.
All right. What's your main reason that you still support Trump?
I was listening earlier, and I think
I don't want to rehash any other old conversations. I want to know your main reason for still supporting Trump.
So my main reason happens to be something that was mentioned in one of your previous callers. Is that okay? Or can one of my main reasons be a previous conversation that you had, or no?
What's it about?
I think it's cultural. The reason I support Trump is cultural. Um, just a cultural issue, or not cultural, or cultural differences that I see in this country that's kind of developed over the last 20, 30. I'm not sure how old you are, but over the last 20 or 30 years has really escalated. When you think about something as simple as men are stronger than women. Like I heard, if you think there's a lady called, I don't know if you're familiar, Florence Griffin Joyner. She's like the fastest woman ever. She's like, I mean, blazing speed. And she did like a 10.45 in the 100 meter, which is like no woman.
Do you have a kid that participates in college sports or professional sports?
Do I have a what?
Do you have a kid that participates in college sports or professional sports?
I have a daughter that participated in college sports.
Participated, so no longer does.
No.
Okay. Since she's not actively competing at a professional level.
Right.
Got it. Why
So
do you still care? And no, it doesn't affect you personally, nor does it affect anyone specifically in your life if your daughter's full grown and no longer participating in professional sports. And I would assume at this point, because she's not participating, has no Olympic aspirations.
Right. But in terms of, so Florence Griffin Joyner did a 10.45.
All right, so you don't, you're just being a hateful person. You're just a hateful person.
No,
you want to go after 1% of the 1% of the population, which is still 3 million people.
No, I'm actually supporting like millions of people. So if you think
Oh,
about
okay. So it's the greater outweighs the smaller amount.
You can't
Got
just
it.
say I'm a hateful person because
You
I have
are.
a difference of opinion.
No, I
So
actually
I can say that you're.
Here's
no, I can say
why
that you're
I
an
can say
evil
that you are.
person.
I can say that you
You're
are
an
because
evil
for
person.
multiple
So
reasons.
we start calling names. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
I'm just assigning something to you, right? You're already
Right,
proving your
you're
bigotry.
evil, though.
So
You're-
here's
you're-
why I can say that you're a hateful person, right? Is
Okay,
because
why can
this
you
no
say it?
longer affects you personally in any way, shape, or form. You don't have any kids that are under the age of 18, I would assume at this point, because you would have mentioned them. Your daughter doesn't participate in any sports of any level anymore because she's an adult, meaning she has her own life, she has her own career. But for someone like you to be so honed in on the fact that there are individuals that identify with a gender that's not their sex that's assigned at birth, because individuals such as yourself, I would assume, also believe that there's only 2 genders, because you have a woeful misunderstanding that gender is not the same as sex.
And only 5% of the American population would agree with you that men and women are different. There's
That's not
literally
even what I
5% of the
asked. What did I just say?
What I'm
What did I
telling you
just
is
say?
that-
What did I just say?
What did I just say?
I don't know, because
said
I
that
actually had you
5
muted, and this is my channel, so I don't actually
exactly.
care. So no, what I said is that you have genders confused with sex.
Am I still muted?
No, I can unfortunately hear your voice.
Okay, and so this is the problem. This is the cultural difference that we had. Donald
It's
Trump
not a
was in
cultural
office.
difference.
It is a cultural difference. That's
Nope.
why literally millions of people voted for Donald Trump.
Are transgender new? Are transgendered
Yes,
individuals new?
It's
completely new.
It's a relatively new cultural.
It's a relatively new cultural idea. So I'm not going to find this in any historical text that individuals that were born one sex or another identified to the opposite, right? Well, later on in life, I'm not going to find it anywhere in historical text that it's just a new issue today.
So in every high school across America.
No. Answer this. Yes
school
or no.
boys
Yes or no. Is this only a new issue today in today's society? And I'm not going to find it in any historical text. Am I going to find it in any historical text? Am I going to find it in any historical text?
I'm going to answer.
This is a simple yes or no.
I'm going to answer.
Yes or no. Am I going to find it in any historical text?
It is relatively new in American culture.
Done. Can't answer my question. Let me be clear. You will actually find it in historical text. There was actually 8 transgender surgeries performed in 1930s Germany, surprisingly enough, which is why we know when we talk about what's happened in before Hitler came into power in Germany, okay, we know that they targeted an actual LGBTQI plus, prior to these words being known, hospital during that time. They targeted those individuals first, which is exactly what the Trump administration did on his very first day. And we also have other historical texts called the Talmud that recognize, that have words and definitions that recognize transgender individuals. They actually have words to describe an individual that was born male, identifying later on in life as a woman. And they have a word for an individual that was born female and identifies later on in life as a man. They literally are the ones that coined androgynous. That word comes from the Talmud. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Anyone that is transgender just wants to be treated as an equal. I have to say Shitler Phyllis because TikTok is super sensitive. And I don't know who Sydney Sweeney is, so I'll have to look that up, if I'm being honest. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello.
Oh, you hung up before I could get the kid. Yes. Thanks, Gabby. I agree. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Are you mad, bitch?
Okay. Or something else I wanted to address. Oh, also, guys, I'm pretty sure that's like my #1 fan, David. Or Dave. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
48.
All right. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
In some ways, yeah.
In some ways, yeah. Okay. All right. What's your main reason for still supporting Trump?
Well, once I start talking, I would really like to get my point out before being interrupted.
Depends
or
on the
hung up
subject.
Okay. When you told the previous gentleman that he shouldn't care because
Switch over to another subject already.
What?
I've already talked about this way too many times today. It is not my area of expertise. And I feel like any individual that still has an issue and is still calling in specifically to target 1% of the community based off of your misunderstanding
Would you
is
say
just
that
really
targeting
annoying.
So, okay, fine. I'll get off of that then. Based on that logical statement that you just made, would having an issue with what 1% of the community be something that we shouldn't at all be concerned with?
As far as them just trying to exist as themselves and therefore targeting them on their ability to exist where they're not actually harming individuals. So that's the difference, right? Is they're causing no harm to anyone else. They are simply trying to exist as themselves and be acknowledged as themselves. So what other 1% of the United States of American population are you going to say that I'm denigrating against with my logical fallacy that I'm sure you're going to try to make?
I'm just saying that if you're to tell somebody that if there's something that doesn't affect them personally, that they shouldn't care about it at all, like you said to that gentleman.
No, I told him it was weird.
That is exactly what you said.
No, I said that it was weird. I said that it was weird that it's something that he's so hung up on that doesn't affect his personal life to use hate. I said because it was being hateful. If you don't understand why I said that, that it is being hateful again. Okay, so that's actually not what I said. Okay, so what I clearly said, since you don't want to listen to me, is that I said it's weird for an individual that it no longer affects to be so hung up on 1% of the community that he decides to be outside of the cultural norm, which again, he couldn't even answer me, right? He was afraid to answer me whether or not I would find this in any historical text that proves that it's been around for hundreds of thousands of years, since really the existence of man within the world, right? It's been here. It's in a historical text. It's in a religious historical text document called the Talmud, right? Like, it's there. They've existed. They're in the
look at and know that are
freaking
incorrect as
historical
well.
text.
There's
Guess
a lot
what?
of
I have news for
historical
everybody.
texts throughout the entire history
Yeshua,
of
aka
humanity
Jesus,
that
was in fact
you would say
Jewish.
are
And in the
incorrect in the way that
Talmud,
they
it
portray things.
recognizes and has specific words
Just
for
because
individuals
something is in a
that identify
historical text
with
does not mean that it
the
is
sex opposite of their born sex.
Just because
That's
something
why
is
it's
in
weird.
A historical text does not make it correct. Everybody knows that the winner is the person that.
Okay,
writes
so
the
what makes it wrong? What makes it wrong? What basis do you have to say
Because
that someone being
because there are
transgender
people that
is wrong?
exist in it.
What
I'm not saying
basis?
it's wrong.
What? No,
I'm
you
not
just
saying
said
it's
doesn't make it right.
wrong.
No. You just
I didn't
said
say it was
it
wrong.
doesn't make it right. So on what basis, or doesn't make it correct? So that means
the one-
correct, right? Correct.
is
The
a-
opposite
is
would be
the
wrong.
correct way
The
to-
opposite would be wrong. So what makes it wrong or incorrect? Tell me where you're basing the ideas on that it's not correct and so therefore it is wrong. Tell me now. 2 words. It should be very easy.
2 words. Religious beliefs.
Religious beliefs. Okay, again, I bet you're a Christian.
I am not a Christian. I'm not a religious person. But
Oh,
the
so then it's
entire-
not religious beliefs. Why are you lying to me? Why did you just lie? You just said religious beliefs. And again, if you want to bring up religion, I'm going to bring up the fact if someone is in fact Christian for any reason, Jesus is actually Jewish in the fucking Bible. And again, the Talmud recognizes these individuals have existed.
Jesus was a Gentile.
Jesus was Jewish.
He was a Gentile.
And again, the Talmud recognizes these.
I mean, you just
So
said that
that's
Jesus
why
was
it's
Jewish. He
weird.
was literally a Gentile.
Yeshua, is that a Jewish name or no?
Sometimes any.
Yeshua is in fact Jewish. Yeshua is the name of Jesus.
All I have
Yeshua
to
was
say is
Jewish.
that in fairness to all human beings, that for the
Literally,
vast
everyone
majority
is
of people-
saying, Jesus is Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. So let's be clear. I think it's weird for anyone, especially like you, to say, 2 words, right? Religious beliefs. And those were the only 2 words that you can come up with, right? I find that very telling. So I find it very weird for any individual, including yourself. I don't care. Hold on. You're going to stop. Cool. You're going to stop. I think it's weird for anyone to use religious beliefs
I think
in
it's
order
strange
to
that as a
find
woman
and
that
be
you're kind of anti-feminist, that you're
hateful
belief.
to other people. No, I don't even think you understand what feminism is. Feminism is pushing equality for all, sir. Does that say feminism, like equality for all? Does that only saying for women, or is that all? Equality for all. It's not equality
That is
for
not
women.
the way that
Women have
feminism
always
is
been the
practiced
people
today
that
in
have started
2025.
movements. Black
That is
women
not
started
the
the
way that
suffrage movement.
feminism is being
White women
practiced
started the
today in
suffrage movement.
2025.
Black women are inherently responsible
thought-
for starting to get the motions moving for women to be able to vote in this country.
2025, it is
Again,
not practiced in that way.
feminism, let's be very
Feminism is
clear.
not practiced in that
Feminism
way
is
in
about equality
2025.
for all. I'm literally being
That
the
is
most
not the way
feminist
that it is
person here.
practiced
Your misunderstanding of what feminism is your problem, not mine. You haven't looked up anything. You don't know anything. You, sir, are prejudiced as fuck, and I'm going to be very clear here, okay? When a transgendered individual, all they want to do is fucking exist, but you want to call them something other than what they are, when again, the Jewish Talmud is what literally gave us the word androgynous, because it's recognized in their text, their documents, right? It's recognized by them that androgynous individuals exist. Intersex individuals exist. You are not only denying individuals that have issues, right? That were born with a different chromosomal makeup than what you consider to be normal, which, by the way, I have news for you. We have at least 6 studies, right, since this new age, where 46 pure XY chromosomes, and I'm sure you would agree with me that XY equals male, right? XY chromosome, women giving birth to children. So your idea that there is something out here that says, thank you so much, CJ, that they aren't able to do this or that they don't exist is inherently wrong. Unless you've had your personal karyotyping testing done, I don't want to hear it from you because you actually don't even know what gender you are because you don't know what your chromosomal makeup are, which, by the way, there's over 30 different pairings, 37 different pairings of chromosomes that any individual could have. You don't know what it is, okay? But again, we have scientific data, scientific proof that shows that 46 XY, which is the 46 pure XY chromosomal makeup, women, which would have actually been technically male because XY chromosomes would be what you would consider male, gave birth to children because it exists. Chromosomes do not make up what sex you are. Sex is only what your organs are that you're born with. Your chromosomes are different. Your gender is also a social ideology. It's not anything to do with, it's your personal schema. I encourage you to go look that up because I'm sure you've never heard that word before. You don't know anything. Sex is not the same as gender. Stop equating the two. You don't know anything of what you're talking about. And that's why I think it's weird for you to use harmful rhetoric, because this is in fact harmful to not only yourself but every individual in existence here. Harmful rhetoric to be hateful to other people. And that's what you're doing. And then for you to bring up religious beliefs and say that you're not religious afterwards is absolutely fucking bonkers, because again, you're still using it to be a hateful person.
Making a point on this, and you're the one who's using the Talmud as your main point, proving your point. You're telling me that religious beliefs is the way that, like, I shouldn't be.
No, I didn't say it was religious beliefs. You want to know what I believe about religion? I think that if we're going to preach religion in any way, shape, or form, if we're going to... No, I did not. I said the Talmud proves that these individuals have existed. I said that the Talmud proves that these individuals have existed for longer than you and I. It's not a new social thing that exists. It's been around forever. That's what I said it proves. I didn't say that that's my religious beliefs. I believe that everybody deserves to be loved regardless of what's going on. I believe that religion should only be used to preach for love instead of hate. But individuals such as yourself and the last caller and then the other caller that brought this up are using their religious beliefs to preach hate. And that's the rhetoric that I can't get behind, is using religious beliefs to ever preach hate and then to say to be hateful to another individual, which again is not okay. That's kind of funny, Swarovski.
I think it's funny that you are telling me.
I really don't care. Yes, it is very easy to get upset with bigots when I specifically asked them to choose a different topic of conversation. Let's be extremely clear. I gave him an out multiple times. Multiple times. I literally told him, choose a different topic. You're incapable of choosing another topic. That's your issue, not mine. Oh, and this isn't a debate. I'm sure if you actually read the description, what does it say? Does it say debate anywhere in the description? It doesn't, does it? It doesn't say debate anywhere in the description, does it? I wonder why. These are conversations, not a debate. Yes, yes, it is. Oh, that's so cute, Allie. Allie said you sound like Anna Kendrick. I appreciate that. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, so I do that on purpose, obviously. Cloud and Danger. Yeah, I do that on purpose for a very specific reason. All right, TikTok, give me a second. I'm going to mute. I'll be right back. All right. Not a debate, still central. You don't know what a debate is. Okay. Just for the sake of this, wouldn't normally do this, but this is the end of it anyways. So you're asking a question that you don't agree with. You are wanting a debate. Do you think that every conversation inherently leads to a debate? Because you are inherently wrong. Asking questions actually lead to conversations. In order for someone to actually have a debate, you have to be able to argue both sides. I don't know if you actually did speech and debate in high school or even collegiately, but I actually did. Right? And even then, like, you have to be, like I said, in order for you to be good at debating, you have to actually be able to bring coherent arguments to both sides of the table. So not only should you be able to argue from the right, but you should also be able to argue from the left. And then that's how people come together in an actual debate, right? You also can't deny that facts exist. Okay? I literally had someone on my stream yesterday literally say I bring them facts and prove them wrong and say that statistics are this, and he goes, fake news. That a .gov website, specifically the Bureau of Labor Statistics, was now a left-wing website. Oh no, Owen, apparently you didn't. Honey boy, do you know what, Lincoln Douglas debate is? No? Okay, look it up. And guys, I'm not screaming. It's called a microphone. All I have to do is project my voice a little bit, get a little bit closer to it, turn up my gain all the way, and then that's what you consider yelling. I'm not even raising my voice. Y'all don't understand. But it's you guys, not me. Again, it's not a debate because the majority of the individuals that I talk to deny facts. That's why I ask people for sources if they don't provide them up front. That's why I will also provide sources to a lot of different things that I talk about. So in regards to specifically the 46 pure XY male that gave birth to someone is actually reported on PubMed and published on the NIH. And you can find it there. Just type 46 pure XY male gives birth, and you'll find it through, again, PubMed, NIH. I've put it up on my stream multiple times. If you're not able to argue both sides of the argument, then you are not able of participating in an actual debate. If you don't have an idea of what someone else can say to you when you're having these conversations, or participating in debate, because that's what makes a debater good, right? Then you're not having a debate. And so therefore it is impossible for me to debate any of these individuals because the majority of them can't argue even their own side or their own point. Hate. Intense passion or, feel intense or passionate dislike for someone. Yeah, still hate. All right. Really, Joseph? Because I don't even look up most of my sources. This is always funny to me, right? No normal person walks around with a list of sources. Sir, I still remember an argument that I made during Lincoln Douglas debate from high school. I still remember that. Sorry if your memory's not that good. I remember a lot of different things. Okay, listen, the first thing that Seth needs to do, Janelle, is turn off his 18 and over. I told him that. I put that in the chat, that needs to be off. That's probably what it is. All right. Anyways, 1 second, TikTok. Okay, I am ending the stream. Anyways, hate can cause harm, Brando. That's why. Did you know that 40% of police officers have interesting takes on gender? To learn more, look up. Okay, I'll look that up later, Cloud. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Y'all have a great night. I'll be back on